Instant coffee has come a long way. Since it first appeared in 1890, it's quietly become the fuel behind everyday life, from early morning commutes to late-night study sessions. At the center of this caffeinated revolution is Nestlé's Nescafé. Every single day, it brews over 1 billion cups of coffee worldwide. And it all begins far from the cup, with more than 100,000 farmers in coffee-growing regions like Brazil and Vietnam, supplying over 13 million bags of beans to 24 advanced factories across the globe. I'm Frank. Join me in uncovering the secrets of the simple. Every single day, this simple drink is made over 1 billion times. No, you didn't mishear that. Turning raw coffee cherries into something this familiar is anything but simple. At its core, instant coffee is still coffee, brewed from real beans, then carefully dried to remove the water and keep the flavor. We'll come back later and walk through that process step by step. But first, there's something far more interesting about coffee, something most people never learn. The origin and history of coffee. Most stories about coffee begin in the same place, the highlands of Ethiopia. According to legend, sometime around the 9th century, a goat herder noticed something strange. After eating red berries from a small tree, his goats refused to rest. They jumped, they paced, they stayed awake through the night. Curious, he tried the berries himself. Whether the story is literal or symbolic, history agrees on one thing. Coffee didn't spread because it tasted good. It spread because it helped people stay awake. By the 14th century, coffee had moved into the Arab world, where it became part of religious life. Monks and worshippers used it to remain alert during long nights of prayer. Around the 15th and 16th centuries, coffee houses began appearing across the Middle East. These weren't places for quick drinks, but spaces for conversation, debate, and ideas. When coffee reached Europe in the 17th century, it arrived as a luxury, expensive, exotic, reserved for the elite. But that phase didn't last. As trade expanded and cities grew, coffee left aristocratic salons and entered everyday life. By the 19th century, during the Industrial Revolution, work was no longer shaped by daylight or seasons, but by clocks and shifts. Long hours, early mornings, repetitive labor. Coffee became less about pleasure and more about function. And once coffee became a daily necessity, a new question naturally followed. How do we make it last longer? How do we carry it? How do we fit it into faster lives? Why instant coffee was created. By the time coffee became a daily habit, it came with new problems. Fresh coffee didn't travel well, it spoiled easily, it took time to prepare, and it wasn't always available where people needed it most. As the world moved faster, through wars, expanding cities, and global trade, coffee had to adapt. Soldiers needed something portable. Workers needed something quick. Travelers needed something reliable. Brewing fresh coffee every time simply wasn't practical anymore. So the question changed. Not, how do we make better coffee, but how do we keep coffee possible, anywhere? That question led to a simple idea. Take brewed coffee and remove the one thing that makes it fragile: water. Instant coffee wasn't created to replace traditional coffee. It was created to solve a logistical problem, to make coffee lighter to carry, easier to store, faster to prepare. In other words, instant coffee wasn't about taste first, it was about access. And once coffee became accessible everywhere, it stopped being a luxury and became a constant. When and who created instant coffee? Instant coffee didn't appear by accident. The earliest version was developed in 1901 by a Japanese-American chemist named Satoru Kato. His goal wasn't better flavor, it was preservation. A few decades later, in 1938, instant coffee took a major leap forward when Nestlé refined the process, helping turn surplus coffee beans into a stable, shelf-ready product. That moment changed everything. Coffee was no longer tied to a place, a pot, or a routine. From then on, coffee could travel with people, wherever life took them. So by the early 20th century, the goal was clear. Coffee had to last longer, travel farther, and work anywhere. To do that, the process had to change, but the starting point didn't. It still begins with coffee beans. The process, from bean to instant coffee, where coffee becomes stable enough to travel. Coffee plants take time. After flowering, coffee cherries need 6 to 9 months to fully ripen. Farmers typically harvest when over 90 to 95% of the cherries are red, because unripe beans can ruin an entire batch. Once picked, the clock starts. Within 6 to 12 hours, the cherries are processed at a wet mill. They're floated in water to remove defects, pulped to strip away the fruit, fermented for 12 to 48 hours, washed, then sun-dried until moisture drops to around 10 to 12%. After drying, the parchment layer is removed, revealing green coffee beans. These beans are sorted, graded, packed into 60-kilogram bags, and stored before shipping. Only at this point is the coffee stable enough to travel across continents, where flavor decisions are locked in. When green beans arrive at the factory, quality control begins immediately. Moisture sensors, optical sorters, and sampling remove defects. In large operations, up to 10 to 15% of incoming beans may be rejected before roasting. Roasting happens fast. Depending on the profile, beans spend 8 to 15 minutes in rotating drums, reaching internal temperatures above 200 degrees Celsius. This short window determines most of the final flavor. Once roasted, the beans are cooled within minutes, ground, and brewed into a highly concentrated coffee extract, often 5 to 10 times stronger than a regular cup. From here on, the priority shifts from flavor creation to flavor preservation. Removing water, keeping coffee. To turn coffee into instant form, water must be removed. In spray drying, hot air above 200 degrees Celsius evaporates moisture in seconds, producing fine powder. In freeze drying, the extract is frozen at around -40 degrees Celsius, broken into granules, then dried under vacuum so ice turns directly into vapor. Both methods reduce moisture to below 3 to 5%, which dramatically slows spoilage and allows coffee to be stored for months or even years. The final product is sealed, packaged, and shipped. Add water, and the coffee returns. Instant coffee isn't fast because it's careless. It's fast because every step is controlled. What actually happens when you drink instant coffee? Let's clear up a few things most people never hear about instant coffee. First, antioxidants. Instant coffee doesn't lose them. In fact, some studies show it can contain equal or even higher antioxidant levels than brewed coffee, mainly because of how the coffee is processed and concentrated. Second, calories. A plain cup of instant coffee contains about 7 calories, plus small amounts of potassium and niacin. The coffee itself isn't heavy. What usually adds weight is what we mix into it. Third, caffeine isn't one size fits all. A typical cup of instant coffee contains roughly 30 to 90 milligrams of caffeine, compared to 70 to 140 milligrams in brewed coffee. That makes instant coffee less overwhelming for some people, especially those sensitive to caffeine or sleep issues. But there's also a trade-off. Instant coffee tends to contain slightly higher levels of acrylamide, a compound formed during roasting. Sounds alarming, but food safety agencies in Europe and the US agree. At normal consumption levels, the risk remains low. In other words, instant coffee isn't harmless, but it isn't the villain either. It's still coffee, with benefits and limits. Is instant coffee actually worse? So, is instant coffee actually worse? The real question is, worse than what? Worse in flavor? Possibly, depending on the coffee and the moment. Worse in health? Not necessarily. Worse in quality? Only if quality is defined by one single experience. Coffee isn't a moral choice, it's a situational one. Brewed coffee shines in moments of ritual, when time slows down, when aroma matters, when the process itself is part of the enjoyment. Instant coffee shines somewhere else. Early mornings, long nights, travel, workdays where convenience matters more than ceremony. Judging instant coffee for not being brewed coffee is like judging a bicycle for not being a car. They're built for different purposes, different tools, different experiences. And once you stop asking which one is better, a more useful question appears. Which one fits this moment? Because in the end, it's not about right or wrong coffee. It's about the right coffee for the right time. Different coffee for different moments. Why do you drink coffee? At this point, the question isn't really about instant coffee anymore. It's about why we drink coffee at all. Some people drink it to wake up, to sharpen their focus, to get through long days and longer nights. Others drink coffee for the ritual, the sound, the smell, the quiet moment before the world starts moving. And for many, coffee is memory, a familiar cup, a shared table, a routine that makes the day feel normal. None of these reasons are better than the others. There isn't a correct way to drink coffee. There's only the coffee that fits the moment you're in. Some mornings call for patience, others call for speed, and sometimes the best coffee is simply the one that's there when you need it. So what about you? Why do you drink coffee? Coffee has never been just a drink. It's a tool, a ritual, a memory. From a fruit growing on a tree to a powder in a jar, every form of coffee exists because people needed it, in different ways, at different times. Instant coffee isn't a shortcut. Brewed coffee isn't a standard. They're simply answers to different moments in life. So the next time you reach for a cup, whether it takes minutes to brew or seconds to dissolve, remember this: it's still coffee. And if it does what you need it to do, then it's doing its job. If this changed how you see something simple, you might enjoy the next story too. Our team uses publicly available online sources and AI-assisted research tools to create this video. We strive for accuracy, but errors or omissions may still occur, so please view this content for entertainment purposes only and use your own judgment when considering any information presented. Nothing here is intended as professional, legal, medical, financial, or safety advice, nor as encouragement for risky or illegal actions. We do not promote hate, harassment, violence, or misleading information, and we work to comply with YouTube's community guidelines, terms of service, copyright, and fair use rules, and all applicable laws. If you believe any part of this video infringes your rights or violates YouTube policy, please contact us.